Yep.
Good evening, all, and welcome back to the Huddy Hui for episode 38. We had a month off because we were busy with streaming under level 2 and commentating. And Adam is enjoying the off season. He's in the Hawke's Bay, trying to catch up some sun rays, while the rest of us here in Wellington stay pale.
Absolutely, it's beautiful weather here in the Hawke's Bay, and tomorrow I'm very excited. I'm going to meet Roy Roper, who is the oldest living All Black, 98 years old. He lives in Hastings. Played 44 first-class games, scored 40 tries. He was an All Black in 1949 against Australia, and then for 3 tests in 1950. And Roy Roper rang the Rugby Museum on a day I was there, reminding them that it was his birthday the next day, and he's the oldest living All Black. So I thought, you beauty, your faculties are strong, and I'm coming to meet you. So really looking forward to that.
Oh, exactly. And of course, Adam, there's a Ranfurly Shield match up there this weekend. That should be quite interesting if you can get along to it. But speaking about last weekend, we finally got some action in the National Under-85 competition. Unfortunately, all the Auckland teams are out, but we had the privilege of calling the semi-final between the Avalon Bulls and the inaugural side this year, the Carisbrook Bush Pigs, and they caught the flight up on Saturday from Dunedin, and they pulled out a stunning performance to win 22 points to 10. It was 17-0 at halftime to the Bush Pigs. And joining us tonight to talk about the Bush Pigs, how it was all set up and how it all went, and now they have the potential of hosting the final down there in Dunedin, hopefully at Forsyth Bar, is their manager Thomas Grant and Jack Leslie, their second five. Gentlemen, many thanks for coming on the Hui tonight from Dunedin. How are you all doing? And what a result on Saturday. The first half was pretty much the winning of the game.
Cheers, mate. Bloody good to be here. Thanks for having us on.
Yeah, cheers, Brad. Appreciate it.
So, Thomas, you were instrumental behind the scenes of getting this team up and running. Of course, there's no big competition down there for under 85 rugby, but talking to you last Friday to get some facts and figures about the team, you told me the story of how it all started.
Yeah. So it's been a bit of an interesting wee journey for the Bushies so far. As you mentioned, we don't really have an existing 85s grade down here. So the thought around the Bushies is to try and kickstart that and then gather some interest, and which was certainly done so far. So essentially we just put the feelers out around clubs and saw if there was any lads who were keen to give 85s footy a crack, and we had a bit of a muster day where boys just came along and sort of learnt what the 85s grade's about and this national competition. And then through there, sort of working at the union and consultation with NZ Rugby, registered in a team under the Sassenach Rugby umbrella, and changed the name to the Carisbrook Bush Pigs to sort of suit the scarfy style, something a bit brand new and wacky. And the lads have been done the rest so far. So it's been an awesome ride so far.
What point of the year did this composition begin, and how hard was it to get it off the ground?
Oh, you're testing me memory bank here, Adam. But I think it was about June, probably March, June, probably earlier, to be honest, probably completely incorrect. But around then anyway, it was pretty hard to get off the ground for a start. I guess the hardest thing is to try and convince, people to try something new. But to be fair, these lads built on the foundations of what Auckland have done so far and the popularity of teams like the Squids and the Lizards. We showed them that, and the grand final on TV last year, that was a massive carrot for our boys to try and be involved in a competition like that. And social media wise as well, we're trying to build a bit of hype there and fizz, which our management team are doing an awesome job of so far. So yeah, it was hard at first, but I think it's pretty smooth now.
It seems extraordinary there's no local competition in Dunedin. Why do you think that is?
Yeah, I think for us, it's obviously the population's a big one. Population is a big one. We don't have the numbers compared to other regions, but I think the main reason we don't really have one is because a lot of them are currently playing in that Colts rugby division. Our Bush Pigs team's made up of Colts / Premier players, so I think the existing Colts grades that we have definitely play a part into us not having a grade down here. But as I touched on before, like that's certainly something we want to do in the future. It might take 2 or 3 years to get it really running, but I think we're going a long way to trying to produce something.
So how did you get involved, Jack?
Well, I'm actually at Southern Rugby Club, and Wheels was the manager of the Prems this year. I'm also good mates with Wheels, so kind of helped. He approached me at the start of the year and said he had an idea about the about the Bush Pigs, and he's pretty passionate about it. And I thought it sounded pretty cool. And I also thought it was a good opportunity for fellas that didn't quite cut the rep teams, so the Otago B team or Otago itself. And yeah, I was really keen to get amongst it. And so far, it's been an absolute ball, and the culture around it's really cool. And that's a big shout out to the 4 main managers, Wheels, AJ, Jermaine, and Mitch. They've done a great job with that. So yeah, it's real cool.
So Jack, you've mainly played between 10 to 12, but at the weekend you played at 12 and you played an absolute stunner of a game. You cut open the Avalon Wolves defence alongside your first 5 Riku Kirihara, your Japanese international. Tell us about him, because he's heading back very soon to Japan. But tell us about your rugby career, because you you went to Otago boys, but you didn't make the first 15. But now you're starting to grow as a rugby player.
Yeah, I suppose I was a bit of a late developer. I kind of, started things a bit late physically, and probably wasn't up to the standard at school, just with size and everything. So played second 15 in year 13, had a really good time. We won the championship, the second div there. But yeah, the out of school just kind of grew a bit, put on a bit of size, and yeah, at Southern now and really enjoying it. It's really great environment out there and got some good people, and Southern's really building as a club at the moment. So yeah, I'm quite happy where things are at.
No local competition. What's been the pathway to get to the national final?
Do you want to go on that one, Les?
I think that's you, mate.
Yeah, I can give that a crack. Yeah, I guess with no local competition, it was really key for us to work in with the clubs and not affect their club window. That was the thing that we had to agree on if we were going to have this Bushies team, is to not affect club rugby, and it hasn't, which is great. So we played the first game on Queen's birthday Monday, went up to Timaru in a couple of vans and played the Mud Dogs, and what a way to kick things off. We've got 30-year-old farmers turning up, a couple of packs of darts pre-game for those lads, and we were just a bunch of sort of unknown lads just ready to give something a crack. And looking back on that now, it's been like, wow, like you just wouldn't have expected would be where we are now from that round 1 game. There's been some really, really tight fixtures, and it's just such entertaining and fun rugby to play for the lads.
Have you lost fixtures or players because of the COVID?
Yeah, we definitely have lost fixtures and players. Obviously, the Auckland teams not being in the competitions, that's a massive one. Really feel for them as well. Would have loved to have come up against those, stalwart Auckland teams like the Squids and the Lizards, as I touched on. They're really why I was interested in getting this team together, to be fair, because they have such an awesome thing going on. And then players, yeah, definitely a few pulled out due to COVID, and exams are the big one at the moment. So, yeah, we're still battling away. We've got quite a big squad. So, pretty blessed with that.
And you've been at the coalface of these games, Jack. What's been your favourite moment, and how did you go about toppling Avalon, who are a very strong side in Wellington?
Oh, favourite moment? It's been plenty, to be honest. Every game's so different. As we all said, when we started off, it was no one really knew what to expect because it was so new for us. But coming up against Avalon, that was definitely our tightest game, and it was we're really impressed with their defense and relentless attack, and I thought both teams are really even. I suppose we're pretty lucky to get over the board quite early. Our backs did quite well there, spreading it wide and backing up, and working hard for each other. I think that's one of the good things about the Bushies. We came together as a team, and we with a bunch of players that don't usually play with each other, so we've kind of had to been pushed in to meet each other and get to know each other quite quick, and we're all passionate to work hard for each other and get results. So yeah.
So you played a bunch of Timaru smoking farmers. You've marked Scott Waldrum, who's an All Black. What's the personality of the Bush Pigs? How would you describe the DNA of this side?
Gee whiz, the DNA. I think we just like tackling, to be honest.
And that's a very important thing in 85 kilo rugby because obviously the players are relatively similar size. So do you sometimes feel like you're in multiple positions even though you've got a designated jersey number on your back?
Yeah, well, I suppose it doesn't really matter where you are when everyone's 85 kgs. I also think it's quite a good opportunity to try things out and throw your body a bit harder, because in Prem's footy, you got a lot bigger guys and you definitely can't be hitting them like you do in 85s. So yeah, it's quite an opportunity to actually practice techniques and, give that a go.
So the final you are now in, and potentially a chance to host it. Thomas, we have to wait for the remaining quarterfinal and the semi-final up in the Waikato to see who you eventually play. Is there a chance that the game could be played at Forsyth Bar Stadium, the final?
Yeah, I think there is a chance. Whether it's a big one, I'm not too confident about, because I think it will really depend on the NPC semi-finals. So looking where Otago sits on the ladder now, we're not too far off that second position, but we need to get 5 points out of both of our next games, who are Canterbury and Waikato in the competition. So it's achievable if the boys click. Unfortunately, I can't do that for them, but here's hoping they certainly do. But yeah, to have it under the roof would be next level, or even to host it at our ground of Logan Park 6, where we played Upper Hutt. That's a cool wee venue too, but it's pretty good. But to be fair, the Bushies, they do love travelling, as we did on the weekends. So I wouldn't turn down another trip away either, to be fair, Brad and Adam.
You had two options from New Zealand Rugby. Of course, they paid for you guys to fly up. You could either go up on the Friday and come back on Saturday night, or go up on Saturday morning and go back Sunday. I think that decision was pretty easy.
Oh, yeah, that was made in a split second, I'll tell you that much. Yeah, that was an easy decision for the lads. Yeah, I mean, not often, especially in COVID times, you get to have a trip away to the capital. And, man, what a trip. I'm still fighting demons right now, to be fair. I've been a couple of hours at work where I've tried to nod off, but that experience will stick with me for the rest of my life, and I'm sure Les will probably vouch for it too. It was such a fun time.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Tell us more about some of the other players in the team. Who are the real key guys in this roster?
Have a crack, Les.
Always comes out of it.
Yep.
Feeling pretty sore, but he's he really leads from the front, and he's quite impressive. And another fella would probably have to be Bax Collie. He came into the team for his debut against Avalon and put out a really good performance, and real gritty. But to be honest, all the boys go hard. Yeah,
Bax Collie, he was your only representative from Clufa, from the South Otago, so making his debut. Stunning effort.
Good Southo, man.
And these lads, are they all local lads, or are they from all over the place?
No, they're all local lads now, I guess you could say. A few of them are from Auckland, down here for uni and whatnot, but they all play club rugby in the metropolitan competition. So I think we've got a sprinkling of a few Central Otago lads in there. And Balclutha, as Les said, big backs on debut. What a man. We're a bit of a mix, actually, so it's quite cool.
And Bush Pigs, what were the other possible names for the side, and why was Bush Pigs chosen?
Good question. We had a bit of a Facebook post that we did through Otago Community Rugby, and Bush Pigs came up. To be fair, I've got a Google Doc that I could probably send to you. There's that many names on it, and Bush Pigs wasn't one of them. There were so many different options, but the boys liked the look of the Bush Pigs, and man, had some great memories as a kid at Carisbrook. So I was like, why don't we chuck that in front of it? Carisbrook's such a special part of Dunedin and Otago history. Obviously, Jack, his old man, got to play there many times, and he's no doubt been heaps as a kid. So it's pretty cool to use that as well.
Tell us about your old man Jack and his influence on your rugby.
He's awesome with my footy. He always give me advice and always staying really positive about everything. He's been doing a bit of coaching with the team at the moment, and I think that's been going pretty well. Just really skills orientated, upskilling the lads, and short timed trainings but high intensity. Yeah, so it's good. Really enjoy having him there.
Of course, you're wearing the Southern Rugby Club jacket there, and your old man is coaching the team with a rather star-studded coaching lineup next year, Jack.
Yeah, we're pretty lucky to have old Bad News Muse and Jamie there. They'll add some real value. So all the boys at Southern are really excited for those guys to get amongst it and learn from them. They have so much expertise. So yeah, really looking forward to that.
How did Southern go this season?
We were both the Prems and the Colts were knocked in the semis. So yeah, we went all right, but hopefully shaping up to do a bit better next year. But yeah, it was still a good season.
And Thomas, I understand you work for the union, so explain what you do, because you do a wonderful thing with this 85 side promoting the game.
Yeah, so my role is rugby operations administrator, if you want to get technical. That's what it is. But it's to be fair, it's probably the thing I love about rugby and sport is it's such a different day every day. Brings lots of variety. Essentially, sort of working with the clubs around the draws and do a bit of social media as well, and sort of handle dispensations and a lot of sort of keyboard stuff, Adam. But the beauty of it too is I get to get out and around the rugby community on Saturday as well, and manage, as Les said, and also plied my trade playing this year as well. Well, that career is not going anywhere anytime soon. So yeah, I just enjoy the admin side of things and running cutters. So yeah, it's great fun.
What keeps you busy off the field, Jack?
I'm a university student. I'm third year marketing and finance. So an exam season at the moment, chipping away at it. So yeah.
So Thomas, there's many a famous story about players when it comes to weigh-in. And I remember you told me the story of your game in Timaru, where one of your players drastically had to lose weight very quickly and was quite successful. Tell us that story.
Yeah, Ruben Stink Warrior. Yeah, that's him. He was 86 kgs at the weigh-in in our first game in Timaru. So obviously you got to be 85 and under. Got him in the black rubbish bag. Yeah, your 50-cent pickup from Countdown, and he dropped down to nothing and slapped that on him, and he ran around the Pleasant Domain for half an hour and got some great reps of burpees in, and dropped a full kg. And we took him on the plane to Avalon, to Wellington, and he was weighing 87 in the morning of, and we're like, oh no, this couldn't end up very good. So we got to Avalon. The boys had a Subway and a cookie at Wellington Airport, and Ruben's Subway and cookie was put straight in my bag. He wasn't touching it, so got him straight to the Avalon venue. And he weighed 86.3, got him in the sauna straight away for half an hour. And he completely lost 1.7 kgs just from that sauna at Avalon. So thank you very much to the Rico Sports Centre for that.
Was he conscious at the weigh-in?
Yeah, barely. It lost a lot of fluid. But that's the story of it. That's the grade. It's got some awesome stories, and yeah,
how the hell did you get access to the sauna?
To be fair, the Troy O'Kane, the Avalon, I think, club president, what a rooster. He had the swipe card, and he said, look, I'll get you in the sauna. We were there, 2 hours prior to kickoff, so he allowed our player to go in there. So if it wasn't for Troy, I would have been on the bench.
Yeah.
How many other players did you have in the sauna?
Nah, just Ruben. Yeah,
just Ruben.
His weight fluctuates 3 kgs every week, he reckons. So I don't know what that man's eating.
What was the flavour of the Subway that he later was rewarded with?
You see, he wasn't rewarded with it because I had it at him. Yeah, but no, we got him. The Avalon Club hosted a great feed of your classic shepherd's pie and spaghetti bolognese after the game. So I gave him 3 plates full of that instead. So he earned it.
Yeah. Well, Thomas and Jack, it's been a pleasure having you on the Huddy Hui. All the best for the final in a few weeks if it goes ahead. And we're looking forward to watching that final, and go well.
Cheers, guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Well, Adam, the National Under-85 competition is a great incentive. Eden Rugby Club winning it last year, the first ever championship at Eden Park. Of course, the Auckland team's not in it, but the Bush Pigs in Dunedin showing us and everyone around how much of a great competition it is.
Absolutely. Extraordinary to think that Dunedin doesn't have an 85 kilo competition. Obviously, the numbers down there are at a low point at the moment, but the success of the Bush Pigs proves that there's still an enthusiasm, still a desire, and still the talent for those players of a restricted weight to flourish. And what a fantastic victory that they had over Avalon. Avalon really dominated the Wellington competition. Eastbourne won the first round. Avalon narrowly lost that game, but in the second round, Avalon were utterly dominant. And in the final, they didn't concede a try. And of course, they had Scott Waldrum, who really was playing like a greyhound at the end of the year in imperious form. So that's a wonderful win for the Bush Pigs.
Well, you do feel for Avalon because that was their first game since the final, the 24th of July. So that's a hell of a long time in between games. But also, they put up a good fight, and it was Scott Waldrum's last ever game for the Avalon Rugby Club. He's only ever going to play one game a year, and that's going to be the St. Pat's Old Boys game. But Scott Waldrum, a fantastic career, age 41.
22 years of rugby for Scott Waldrum at a professional or senior level. He came out of St. Pat's Silverstream as the first 15 captain in 1998. A decade later, played for the All Blacks against Munster. Almost certainly would have played more had it not been for injury and a bloke called Richie McCaw. He really has been a wonderful contributor to Avalon. Remember, he was very close to getting the New Zealand Sevens job. He was beaten to that post by Greg Laidlaw, the Scotsman, and he could have, at that moment in time, disappeared overseas. He was a highly regarded coach with a lot to offer, but he remained loyal, and he's turned out quite often for the Avalon Prems, who have really struggled the last 2 years and only won a single game in the Swindale Shield. So Scott Waldrum still doing wonderful things, and hopefully he will continue to remain involved with the Wolves despite not playing. But I don't believe that it'll be his last game. He said that before and come back. So let's hope that perhaps the retirement is premature or a complete falsehood.
Well, here's an interesting thing about the under-85s, Adam. Andy Leslie, the grandfather of Jack, who we had on the Hui tonight, was there watching the semi-final, and I was talking to him after the game, and he reckons, and he proposed this idea, that there should be a World Cup for under-85s.
Well, I agree, because the average weight of a New Zealand male was anywhere between 85 and 88 kilos. The average weight of a player in the Six Nations this year was 105 kilos. So that's 20 kilos above the ordinary weight for a New Zealand male. And not everybody can be a hulking specimen, and sometimes to get into the shape of a professional rugby player, you have to have a very diligent and scientific approach to gym and diet, and not anyone's wired that way. Rugby is a combat sport, and in just about every other combat sport, they have weight-restricted competition. And so why can't we have that in rugby?
I totally agree. And the under-85 competition, national comp, is only going to keep growing and growing. And many thanks to Troy O'Kane and the Avalon Rugby Club. They were hospitable, and they did a fantastic job there at Fraser Park. And the aftermatch was outstanding. So well done to Troy and your team. Adam, sad news this week. Sean Wainui passing away. Product of the Chiefs, Taranaki, most recently Bay of Plenty. And of course, who would forget that game? 5 tries against the Waratahs this season. An impressive display of rugby. We watched that game, and what an amazing performance it was. But he was also proud of his Māoridom and also playing for the Māori All Blacks.
And that was really his crowning achievement, the Māori All Blacks. If you're familiar with the history of the Māori All Blacks, they almost disappeared entirely in the late 60s, and Waka Nathan, who passed recently as well, was instrumental in their resurgence. And then Matt Tapo came aboard as coach. He was a wonderful mentor. They won 35 out of 40 games under his stewardship, beat many international sides, including England and Ireland. And then Maori rugby in 2010 celebrated its centenary. Jose Gear scored a spectacular hat-trick against England in a victory at McLean Park in Napier. And then Maori rugby fizzled out again. They weren't so popular, they weren't so good. And in recent times, they've had a resurgence that's been led at age group level as well. The New Zealand under-18 Maori assembled this year, and they had a spectacular result 3 years ago when they knocked over the New Zealand Barbarians side, which is effectively New Zealand Secondary Schools B. That was an extraordinary upset. And the Māori, very strong team this year. They had two terrific tests against Samoa, which they won, and Sean Wainui integral in those games, leading the haka and playing with flamboyance and precision on the wing. It's been really interesting to monitor the response of grief in regards to Wainui's passing. And I think one of the reasons why it has struck such a raw nerve, apart from the fact that it's a terrible tragedy and he's 25 with two kids and such a bright future ahead of him, is the fact that he was a genuine personality in the sport. He had outrageous hair. He was very forthcoming and humorous and self-deprecating with his interviews. And in an age of social media, which is a lot of contrived personality, and in an age where a lot of the players are afraid to say what they really think, Sean Wainui was a breath of fresh air with his expression of culture and talent.
Yes, a sad loss, Sean Wainui, and we wish all the best for his family during this difficult time.
I should say too, on the subject of Sean Wainui, they set up a Give a Little page today, and it's been going absolutely berserk, illustrating the extraordinary impact that this passing has had on any number of people. And in 11 hours, can you believe this? They have raised $153,318. 3,788 people have donated to the Sean Wainui whānau support page. So that's just an incredible display of generosity. And personally, I was fortunate enough to stumble across Sean Wainui in the role I had with Sky Sport First 15 Rugby. He went to Takapuna Grammar School. He didn't quite have the same haircut in the gentrified suburbs of Takapuna, but he was wonderfully respected in that First 15. He was the captain of their side, and they played Rangitoto on national TV, and they won 41-17, and he was the man of the match. And then he kicked on and played for the New Zealand under-20s in 2015. They won the World Cup, beat England in the final after England, under the captaincy of Mario Toge, had won the tournament in Auckland the year before. Kiri Ioane scored the winning try in the final after being yellow carded. And then Wainui had 53 games for Taranaki, 44 games for the Chiefs. And that last appearance for the Chiefs was the immortal display where he scored 5 tries. There are a number of players to have scored 4 tries in a Super Rugby match. Joe Roth, the legendary Wallaby, Joe Elevanderi, the legendary Fijian All Black. Sean Wainui beat them all, and if ever there was a compliment to his talent, perhaps that game was it.
Oh, yes, it was an outstanding game. 5 tries in one game, and it was just a special occasion. And indeed, Sean Wainui, a massive loss for rugby. Oh, Adam, episode 38 is done, but next week, episode 39 is on Tuesday at 8:00, and we have an international referee joining our show. He's going to be beaming in live from London.
Brendan Pickerel has fashioned a wonderful career in refereeing, and he'll talk to us about his experiences in international footy and rugby rules, which are always a source of dispute.
Oh, you certainly love rugby rules, Adam, don't you? So, and that is the Huddy Hui for tonight. It's a pleasure having you on board. Many thanks to Thomas Grant and Jack Leslie for coming on the show to talk about the Carisbrook Bush Pigs and the under-85 competition. Take care of one another. Ciao for now.